So guys, this is my review for episode 12 of Berserk 1997 original version. So with that guys, let's just dive into such a great episode in this review video. Let's get it. So this episode pretty much opened up where it last left off. Basically, it opened up with a dream that I wasn't sure what it was. I kind of guessed ahead where it opened up where it was showing Griffith, and then it showed a kid, and Griffith was having this conversation with his kid, and I said in my reaction to that, I was like, is this a backstory? Basically that's what this episode was about. It was storytelling of Casca first meeting Griffith as a child, but in this moment here, specifically with the scene where Griffith basically had rescued the both of them. They survived the fall into the ravine and all of that. They're having that conversation, that dialogue. Like Griffith is like saying to her, like, dude, like, I saved your life. You can't be getting up too quickly from laying down. Your fever hasn't gone fully away. We need to really look to continue to take care of you in that wound. But Casca was just basically like saying, like, look, like, you shouldn't have saved me, blah blah blah, like, and on top of what Griffith was saying to her, like, this is the reason why. Same thing that dude was saying to her, like, and I me personally, I disagree, but they both were basically saying the same thing to her, like, this is why women shouldn't be on the field, blah blah blah, it's only for men. And then Casca's response was in tears of saying, that I didn't ask to be born a man, and simply because of at the beginning when she said that, I was thinking, well, maybe because she's getting so much slack from specific men because she's a woman, she's better than them at fighting, and it makes them feel less of a man because she's a woman. She's better than them on the battlefield. That was my mindset, but that totally changes moving forward in the episode. Now, per the backstory origin story of Casca, we find out that she was just a kid. She had a family. She had I want to say she had older siblings, mother and a father, but they were poor. They lived in a poor area of the village that they were in, and people were these noblemen and stuff were coming through and taxing them like crazy, keeping them in a poorish state. And her father, basically was saying, like, her father basically was looking at it as this nobleman comes to him saying, look, I can take your daughter away from this. She'll live lavishly. She'll live better. And the father's like, yes, take care of my daughter, blah, blah, blah. He's basically doing what a parent, what any parent would do to try to protect their child from experiencing lack, pain and anguish, all this, the normalcies of life that for a lot of people, they don't get to, there's very few people that really truly get to experience true comfort in life, while everybody else is pretty much struggling to live day to day. So the father's like, look, just take my daughter Casca, take my baby. You definitely said that you'll take care of her, make her live a comfortable life, blah blah blah. But again, that of course wasn't the case at all once we get past this scene here. Of course, we run into yet another bum in my list of bums when it's pertaining to anime. We basically find out that this nobleman definitely wanted to use and abuse Casca, rape her, and all of that crap. I hate guys out here who do that, who think like that, who feel like that's what they need to do to experience joy in life. That is not true joy. That's trash. That's whack to me. But we find out that he tries to rape her, but Casca shows up. Griffith shows up, saves her. Well, a little bit of saves her, but he basically just tells her, like, look, like, you have a decision to make. He gives her his sword, and he's like, it's either you will let him do what he was about to do to you, or you take charge and take charge of your life and stuff like that. And that's when she grabs the sword, she kills this nobleman, and then we find out that Griffith is like, look, You can do whatever you want now. You're free to do how and live your life however you want. But she's like, look, I want to join you, because she basically looked at him as her own personal savior. She felt like God sent him to be her angel, her protector. But again, Corcus is bum butt over there. Like, yeah, you don't, we're not here to babysit children and stuff like that. We don't take on girls and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, she's a child. She needs protecting. Like, whether she's a boy or a girl, whatever, she's a child. She needs to be protected. But again, she still joins them, and then of course that's when we start to see stuff flow in such a way that literally just like, wow, guys, totally blew me away. Was not expecting what was to come moving forward in episode 12. Now, I was not expecting this to occur in episode 12. Now, we know that Griffith started to have specific thoughts pertaining to life and how he wanted to live it, how he wanted to experience it, specifically for his men. And I wasn't, the boy dying that was a part of his crew. The little boy dying. I understand that, right? I get that. That is such, watching a kid die under your watch, that can definitely have a specific effect on you, whether good or bad, right? It will still have a specific effect on you, especially if it's your first time seeing a child die under your watch, right? Compared to somebody else's watch. We're talking about you specifically. We're talking about Griffith specifically. So Casca knew and realized that there was a change in Griffith once the child died, and she noticed it. And this bum here to his right, to the left of the screen, this other nobleman, whatever, he was rich, and Griffith knew that he was rich, and he knew that this dude was a pedophile. He knew this, and he still decided to make the decision to say, hey, because this dude is rich, I'm gonna end up going in bed with him to be able to get this money from him, versus taking 5 years, 10 years to get more men under his wing, probably even kids under his wing, to die under his wing. And he decides to go this route. This decision that he made totally changed my thought process on Griffith, which we need to talk about. So let's get it, guys. Let's do this. Now, I brought this up, I want to say, in a couple of my reactions. I brought this up in one of my reviews for sure, where I was questioning Griffith's motives, reasons why he is the way that he is, and how he acts and reacts and stuff. So Casca talks about this towards the end of the episode in her conversation with Guts, where Griffith, in this scene, he's having the conversation. He's literally ripping his skin off of his arms, like bleeding from his arms, because he's talking about his dream, because he doesn't want to give up his dream. Even Casca even says it, like he's continuously believing that this dream of his can occur while others have given it up. Griffith has totally changed my thoughts on who he is, how he thinks. We all there's a lot of us who have specific dreams. I've had a specific dream about how I want the world to operate, stuff like that. I may do a specific video about that, random video about that at some point if I feel comfortable. But Griffith's dream, he wants to be able to have a solid core group of people. Like I said a moment ago, he wants to have a solid core group of men that he can have under his wing, that he can protect, that he can make sure that they survive and live comfortably without having to spend several years to a decade to get to a point where he feels like finally they're comfortable. He doesn't want to lose any more men. So he's basically saying he will do anything, as if like he's treating them as his own child or children. He would do anything for his men. And that's why he did what he did with that Noah. Going to bed with him, sleeping with him. Because he's like, look, I will be the one to sacrifice my life, my body, for you, Casca, and for all these other men. And Griffith, he sort of has my backing with that. But again, me personally, I know that I couldn't do that. But, you know, a lot of times, you know, we do say that too, like we don't know what we would do if we're in that moment. Now, I'm saying as of right now, 99% sure that I would not do that. I would rather do the decade long, just trying to get to what we need to get to, because I know me. But I'm not Griffith. Griffith is totally different. Griffith's like, I'm doing any and everything so that my men don't suffer, so that we don't bring more people on, more men on, and they die in my watch. And again, that's not saying that the men, that's not saying that, that's not saying that the men currently with him won't die. But he's saying like, look, I will do any and everything to protect my men. And that's what he's deciding to do. Go to sleep, go to bed with this guy to take his money, so that they can live comfortable now rather than later, which they may not be able to experience later on. That's the other key thing that we have to know. They may not even experience any comfortability at all within the next decade. So he's like, look, I'm taking the easiest route, putting myself on the line so that they don't have to. And like I said, I can sort of agree with Griffith's mindset. Like, I get it. You want your men to survive each and every time and not go hungry and have the money that they need and blah, blah, blah. I totally understand it. I agree with that. But me personally, I couldn't do what he's made the decision to do. That's why I say I'm not Griffith. So, you know, but Casca sees that, and she still loves him and worships him for that dream, which is just totally just like, I'm just blown away how great this episode and these scenes were here in episode 12. In episode 12, guys, blown away by everything that occurred in this episode. But then we find out that at the end, that one of the higher up men that joined Griffith and his crew, they sent out 3 guys to go and basically, I want to say, take Guts and Casca alive. I want to say that, but at the same time, I kind of feel like they were sent to actually take them out, kill them, find their bodies and kill them. That's what it seems like. But they're doing this behind Griffith's back. You know? So to Griffith's knowledge, he doesn't know any of this. So Griffith, to me, it seems like Griffith made the decision to keep all of his men behind so that they can go out and continue to fight. But whomever it was that was in charge of these 3 guys, they were sent down to look for Casca and Griffith. So interesting stuff, guys. And I'm looking forward to episode 13 and 14 to come. Hopefully, like I said in my reaction, I talked about, hopefully I'll be able to do reaction and review videos for episodes 13 and 14 this weekend. I'll see what I can do. But let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments below. What did y'all think of episode 12? What did y'all think of everything that occurred, specifically the conversation between Griffith and Casca, her conversation between Casca and Griffith when she talked to him about all this stuff and about his, Griffith's response when it's pertaining to her compared to him when they first met each other. Leave some comments, guys. Let's talk about some things. But other than that, I'll talk to y'all next time with more Berserk 1997 original version videos. Peace, guys.